Prince Harry did get into a physical fight with his uncle, Prince Andrew.
For a long time, Prince Harry believed the worst chapters were finally behind him. The custody agreement had been signed, legal teams stepped back, and a fragile calm appeared to settle in. But according to reports, that calm didn't last long at all. Just days later, insiders claim Harry raised serious concerns involving Meghan, concerns that reportedly sent shockwaves through royal circles. So what changed after a deal meant to protect the children? And why did a situation framed as resolved suddenly spiral back into chaos? Observers say questions around Archie and Lilibet's custody reignited tensions almost immediately. On February 3, 2026, Buckingham Palace confirmed that concerns surrounding the children had escalated into what officials described as a formal welfare review. Palace sources emphasized this was not about punishment, but about responsibility and clarity. According to those briefed, the situation intensified after unexpected developments involving schooling and communication gaps. Days earlier, reports state the children were withdrawn from their California schools without standard coordination. School administrators allegedly flagged the situation as unusual after no transfer records were filed and no alternative arrangements were confirmed. Attempts to reach Meghan's team reportedly went unanswered, raising concern rather than conclusions. By February 2nd, senior royals were briefed. Princess Anne is said to have requested an urgent internal review, stressing that public image disputes had crossed into child welfare territory. Inside the documents, officials reportedly noted canceled appointments, delayed responses, and legal instructions limiting outside contact, moves that advisors described as high risk under shared jurisdiction standards. Even more questions surfaced around long-term planning. According to Palace insiders, financial and media arrangements connected to future projects were under reassessment, including whether references involving the children should remain active. Advisors reportedly disagreed sharply on intent, but agreed intervention was required. One official summarized the moment carefully, saying this was not about blame, but about stability. Within hours, emergency safeguarding procedures were activated, and documentation prepared for review in both the UK and California courts under existing legal frameworks. Later that day, Prince William reportedly returned early from public duties and joined the briefing. After reviewing the situation, he is said to have agreed on one priority only: protecting the children emotionally, legally, and historically. By dawn on February 3rd, formal processes were underway, not as retaliation, not as spectacle, but as a protective response under established law, signaling just how serious the situation had become. According to sources familiar with the briefing, a Level 1 emergency custodial review was formally presented to senior royal authorities. The document did not state conclusions as fact, but outlined serious concerns officials said required immediate oversight. At the center were 4 reported issues: an alleged withdrawal from key parental responsibilities, possible future relocation plans outside standard international frameworks, efforts to limit the children's public royal identity, and questions around whether Prince Harry could serve as sole guardian without additional structural support. At 10:20 a.m., Prince William reportedly referenced a rarely cited legal provision allowing temporary crown-level intervention when a minor's stability or identity is believed to be at risk. Palace sources stress this clause is dormant and exceptional, triggered only under extraordinary circumstances. According to insiders, the advisory vote that followed was unanimous. The response unfolded quickly. First, officials confirmed that the children's travel documentation was placed under restricted status, meaning international movement would require dual authorization from designated child welfare authorities. Second, a privacy protection order was reportedly enacted, limiting any commercial use of the children's names or likenesses for a defined period under existing privacy frameworks. Third, a royal fund was announced, aimed at education continuity, emotional support, and long-term stability, a move advisors framed as protective, not punitive. Behind palace walls, the situation reportedly activated what insiders call the Royal Guardianship Protocol, a long-standing safeguard designed for moments when a child's welfare, identity, or future role raises concern. Officials emphasize this protocol is not symbolic and is rarely invoked, reserved for high-risk scenarios only. An emergency session was quickly convened with senior legal advisors and child welfare specialists. Sources say the focus was narrow and deliberate. Emotional well-being, continuity of care, and legal clarity across shared jurisdictions. No personal judgments, no public spectacle, just risk assessment. Claims later surfaced suggesting the school withdrawal may have intersected with proposed media concepts portraying Meghan as an independent public figure navigating pressure. Palace insiders stress these remain allegations, not findings, but say the timing raised internal alarms given the children's visibility. By January 31st, officials reportedly submitted a sealed dossier for independent review. According to those briefed, it outlined concerns around potential brand exposure tied to the children's identities, alongside risk evaluations from external consultants. No wrongdoing was declared, but advisors concluded that safeguards were necessary. That same evening, a brief official statement was released, carefully worded and measured. The message was simple: children connected to the institution would not be placed at commercial or reputational risk. Within 24 hours, several external partnerships associated with child-focused projects were reportedly paused as stakeholders reassessed exposure. Palace sources insist the priority remained unchanged: stability, privacy, and protection above all else. What followed next unfolded quietly, but powerfully, across digital platforms worldwide. Mentions of the children began disappearing without announcement. Archived podcast descriptions were edited. Promotional images tied to previously teased projects were removed. Meghan's legal team cited ongoing legal considerations, while royal sources say international child digital protection standards were formally triggered. In practical terms, officials moved to restrict unauthorized commercial use of the children's names and images across platforms. According to multiple reports, these measures were designed to protect identity, not rewrite history. Still, the speed of the removals stunned observers. Sources close to Prince Harry say he was caught completely off guard. His request for temporary custodial authority was reportedly declined, not as punishment, but due to unresolved jurisdictional issues, travel constraints, and questions surrounding independent long-term stability. The final notice, delivered by Royal Courier, was described as formal and unemotional. It stated that custody oversight would now fall exclusively under Crown protocol, with any future access subject to structured conditions. No personal language, no commentary. Just constitutional clarity. Behind the scenes, attention shifted to emotional care. Catherine, Princess of Wales, reportedly stepped into a supervisory support role focused on stability and adjustment. According to Palace insiders, a structured well-being plan was introduced, including specialist guidance and consistent caregiving routines. Family inclusion was encouraged gently and privately. One carefully released image spoke volumes without saying a word. A quiet photograph showed Lilibet walking hand-in-hand with Princess Charlotte after a church service. No caption, no explanation, just continuity and calm. As public attention intensified, Meghan's team issued only a brief statement requesting privacy. By February 3rd, she was reportedly unreachable for further comment. Observers noted the silence, but officials declined speculation. Legal proceedings soon followed. On February 1st, 2026, a court session concluded with a ruling that redefined custodial authority. Meghan did not appear, and her legal representatives stated she would no longer participate in the process. The court emphasized procedure, not personality, and outlined a transfer of custodial responsibility under shared legal frameworks. Following the ruling, Palace officials announced additional safeguards. Financial instruments connected to the children's future were reportedly frozen pending review after regulators found they were not routed through protected royal channels. Advisors stressed the move was preventive, not punitive. Commercial arrangements involving the children's names were subsequently paused or terminated. According to insiders, the determination was simple. Children could not be treated as brand assets under any circumstances. The most serious step came last. Under a rarely referenced guardianship directive, travel documentation was placed under protective custody. Officials clarified this did not restrict freedom, but required approved guardianship oversight for international movement until adulthood. Sources confirm the protocol used was historical and highly specific, designed for periods of family instability. It had remained dormant for decades. Meanwhile, palace staff say the children are adjusting well. One caregiver, speaking anonymously, described progress as steady and reassuring. Stability, routine, and trust were now the priority. And yet questions remain. What sealed documents were submitted for independent review? And what further safeguards are still unfolding behind closed doors? As the crown moves carefully forward, one thing is clear. This moment has permanently reshaped the boundaries between family, duty, and protection. Princess Anne rose to speak again less than 48 hours later, but this time it wasn't a public briefing. According to those present, the setting was a sealed legal chamber, attended by senior judges, child welfare officials, and privy advisors, convened under emergency procedure. Her tone was described as calm, firm, and unmistakably serious. Sources say she emphasized that discussions had moved beyond speculation. Officials were now reviewing documented concerns tied to the children's emotional well-being under established custodial monitoring frameworks. No accusations were finalized, but the matter was framed as urgent and high risk. Around the same time, images circulated online showing Meghan abroad at a private social event. While her representatives stressed personal privacy, palace sources said the timing intensified internal concern. According to briefing notes later referenced in court, several outreach attempts regarding the children's welfare reportedly received no response. Those documents, according to insiders, outlined behavioral shifts observed by caregivers and educators. Officials stressed these were reports, not diagnoses, but said the lack of engagement raised alarms that required intervention under safeguarding guidelines. When Prince William addressed the chamber, witnesses say his message was precise and restrained. He reportedly stated that this moment was no longer about image or public debate, but about long-term stability for children born into institutional responsibility. Advisors later confirmed his remarks focused on precedent and protection, not punishment. A sworn statement from a former household employee was submitted for review. Officials stressed the contents were evaluated as testimony, not verdict. Any quoted remarks were treated as unverified claims pending legal assessment. Behind closed doors, advisors reportedly discussed wider implications, not only for Archie and Lilibet, but for the standards applied to all royal minors moving forward. Palace officials stressed consistency and duty over personal conflict. Across jurisdictions, legal teams exchanged filings. Meghan's representatives challenged the scope of UK authority, citing jurisdictional limits. Palace sources say preparations were already underway to address shared custody safeguards under international agreements. On February 3, 2026, senior royal officials signed an emergency custodial directive. According to official summaries, the measure allowed temporary guardianship oversight under established law, pending further review. Authorities stressed it was procedural, not final. Later that day, a small specialist delegation arrived in California. Their role, officials say, was observational and legal, ensuring welfare standards, documentation, and compliance. No forced action was confirmed. As pressure mounted, several public figures linked to the situation reportedly stepped back from commentary. Media projects associated with Meghan were quietly paused after audience testing raised concerns about tone and timing. Through it all, palace communications remained minimal. One understated photograph was released showing the children in a calm family setting. No commentary, no narrative framing, just reassurance. To royal observers, the message was deliberate. This wasn't spectacle, it was continuity. Whatever public debate continued, officials emphasized that safeguarding and lineage obligations would guide every decision going forward. And as attention turned toward the next generation, questions emerged about how responsibility is passed quietly. Not through headlines, but through action. How did Princess Charlotte become part of that larger picture? That chapter, sources say, was already unfolding behind palace walls. As legal teams in Los Angeles worked to manage mounting pressure around Meghan's public image, attention quietly shifted back to Windsor. Princess Charlotte of Wales appeared in a moment many royal watchers described as understated but powerful, a gesture that felt natural, yet heavy with symbolism. On the morning of February 1st, Palace Communications released a carefully composed photograph. It showed Princess Charlotte alongside Princess Anne and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, inside the Royal Archives wing at Windsor Castle. Charlotte stood poised, holding a small, ivory-handled letter opener associated with the late Queen's early reign. Behind them, a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth looked on, reinforcing a sense of continuity rather than spectacle. Palace insiders stressed the image was not ceremonial theater, but intentional timing. That same morning, a royal advisory committee reportedly rejected Meghan's bid seeking compensation connected to Princess Diana's legacy. The ruling clarified that no individual may commercially reference royal legacy without sovereign approval, and that marriage alone does not confer such rights. Sources say the decision followed long-established guidelines, some traced back to preparatory documents created during Queen Elizabeth's final years. King Charles was said to support the ruling fully, framing it as protection of institutional legacy, not personal rebuke. Back in Windsor, the photograph of Charlotte spread quickly. Observers noted it marked her first visible association with archival royal responsibility. Equally notable was who stood beside her: Princess Anne, known for institutional discipline, and Sophie, often credited with quiet strategic influence. Royal commentators described the trio as symbolic, representing continuity across generations. Later that day, Princess Catherine made a brief public appearance with Charlotte during a children's charity event. Still recovering from a recent medical procedure, she placed a reassuring hand on Charlotte's shoulder before stepping back. Charlotte accepted a small floral tribute from a child attendee. The moment lasted seconds, but the message resonated. Stability, tradition, and grace moving forward together. Meanwhile, in California, Meghan's legal team reportedly filed a revised petition seeking expanded lifestyle protections, citing emotional strain linked to prolonged legal uncertainty. Royal officials declined comment, noting the matter was under review across jurisdictions. Public focus intensified as the Sussex separation shifted from personal drama to institutional resolution. On February 2nd, the Privy Council issued a brief clarification confirming that royal trust arrangements connected to the children would now operate under a guardian restructuring clause. Under the revised structure, Princess Catherine, Princess Anne, and Prince Edward were named trustees. Officials emphasized the move was administrative, not punitive, intended to centralize oversight and ensure continuity. Commentators noted that responsibility had effectively shifted away from both parents under this framework. Prince Harry reportedly withdrew from a scheduled public engagement, citing legal stress. Meghan, by contrast, was seen working on new media content tied to an independent lifestyle project. British media reaction was mixed, with some questioning timing and tone. The contrast was hard to ignore. While one side focused on image management, the other moved with permanence and procedure. As one royal observer summarized, this wasn't about revenge or drama, it was about course correction. And as attention continues to turn toward the next generation, one truth stands out. The monarchy isn't speaking loudly, it's acting quietly, and with intent. On February 1st, 2026, as public attention swirled around confirmed reports of Harry and Meghan's separation, an unexpected moment quietly reshaped the narrative. Princess Catherine and Princess Charlotte made an unannounced appearance at a local children's charity event, arriving without spectacle, yet commanding the room instantly. The contrast was striking. While Meghan faced renewed scrutiny over luxury branding and image control, and Prince Harry remained out of public view, Catherine appeared calm, steady, and composed. Her deep crimson coat echoed resilience rather than reaction, but it was Charlotte who drew every eye. Holding a small hand-stitched journal marked with the word hope, Charlotte stepped forward during the press moment. According to witnesses, her words were brief but powerful. She spoke about children deserving privacy and dignity, not attention or profit. Palace aides later confirmed the statement had been approved, carefully and intentionally. Royal observers described the moment as quiet, but seismic. No royal child in modern memory had spoken so clearly, yet so carefully in a public setting. The message wasn't dramatic, it was deliberate. Hours later, palace sources revealed that Princess Catherine had circulated a private safeguarding memorandum among constitutional and child welfare advisors. The document reportedly reinforced long-standing protections while updating them for modern risks, including digital misuse, unauthorized monetization, and psychological pressure on minors. Meanwhile, in California, Meghan's team attempted to reframe the situation publicly. A social media post emphasized support for children's voices, but palace officials responded with a sharply worded statement emphasizing that protection is not manipulation and privacy is not abandonment. Around the same time, reports surfaced suggesting proposed media concepts involving the children had raised ethical concerns among regulators. UK advisors confirmed that overseas use of royal children's images would now fall under expanded review authority as part of an ongoing guardianship restructuring. Further scrutiny followed. Audits linked to charitable and foundation activity reportedly flagged planning documents that included potential public appearances and brand-adjacent exposure involving the children. Officials stressed these were reviews, not verdicts, but safeguards were immediately reinforced. Princess Anne later addressed the issue bluntly at a public archive event, stating that children are not assets, schedules, or campaigns. Her remarks were firm, measured, and unmistakable. That same day, the Palace Child Welfare Committee approved emergency privacy measures granting temporary joint oversight to senior royals until court proceedings conclude. Under updated privacy law, any non-consensual use of the children's likenesses for promotional purposes was formally restricted. The line had been drawn, not with drama, but with authority. Now the question turns to you. What do you make of Prince Harry's reported accusations and the Crown's response? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you found this breakdown useful, and don't forget to subscribe for more royal deep dives coming next.